Hey, how's everybody doing? So I got this tree that I did a high quality scan of it. Um, Basically, I told the thing when it made the tree to use the ultra settings for the finest details. And if you look at the wireframe to that thing, it's pretty heavy there as far as the amount of faces it's got, or triangles. That's a solid model. Now, do you see that texture in there? All right, that's because it's got that many damn polygons it can do that. You know, you can't really see it here. You could with like a directional lighting, where it's got shadow on one side, you could see it better. But I actually took this during a good part of the day. It was kind of cloudy. That's the perfect time to take things because it basically, when it's cloudy in daytime, it makes the ambient lighting get like equal on everything. But when the sun's shining down, then it makes shadows and stuff like that. So this is done. We just got to get it into, we're going to put it in BeamNG. We got to do some work on it because you could put that in Beam like that, but it'd be the only thing you could have in your level, probably. Oh, this rock here, even though it did scan it while I did the image, um, I actually did a separate one just for that rock. So it's a really high quality rock. But anyway, let's get this thing to Blender. So once it's done, at the end of texturing, you got the mesh here. And that's what you'll import in the Blender. So we'll import OBJ. Let me get rid of that stuff here. Alright. Import OBJ and then, yeah, there it is. Now, sometimes it may appear and it may be crooked or sideways or whatnot. Don't mess with it. Leave it exactly where it's at, because what you're about to do now is go back and get a low polygon version of the same thing and put it in there. By doing that, you can go to, after the mesh filtering here, you can go to mesh post processing and do a mesh decimate. And then to redo the topography so that it looks better, you can do a mesh resampling. Now this seems to work a hell of a lot better than Blender's decimate. That thing is just terrible. Alright, so I'll do like 0.1 and 0.1. Or maybe 0.1, maybe 0.2. I don't know, 1.5. This doesn't take long to do. This is pretty quick, actually. Compared to how long it takes the other stuff. Probably took this thing about 20 minutes from start to finish to get done. That's taking longer than it usually does. But anyway, there it goes. And then that one. Alright, so this is what the resampled one looks like. Now you can see that it's very low polygon. Yeah. But it's good enough. We don't want too many polys, But we do kind of want it to look a little better than that. Let me resample it a little better. It'll make it have more polys, but I think it'll be better. Now, if this was going to be a tree in a level like, you see on the side of the road, I would not want to use a higher poly model like this. I'd want to use a very low poly. But since this is going to be like a mod, then yeah, it's going to look good. It's going to look good. So mesh resampling's got mesh down here and then the attributes. That's what you'll copy to your clipboard. And you'll import that into here. As you can see, it's in the exact same spot. Now there is a distance that is between, well, it's between, say, that face to the end of that polygon. Now you don't have to measure it like I'm doing. But see, it's like 0.17, 0.2. See, that's the distance it's got to account for. Because when it's baking the texture from what's above that, it's, well, it needs to know that. So to bake, we have the render tab. This is where you change the render engine, and it's where you bake at. So starting with the render engine, we'll turn that to cycles, and I use the GPU. If you you don't need to render 4,096 samples, that's going to take a long time. I'll just do like 2048. Now what I need to do now is get rid of everything that we're not using. So I'll select both of the models at the same time, and then I'll go to edit mode. Then I'll turn on X-ray, and then I'll draw around everything I don't want. Delete vertices. You know, I'm probably going to cut that too, but I'll leave it on here for the baking process. Actually, I should probably get rid of the top up there, because that ain't going to work. Anyway. Yeah, don't forget to turn X-ray on when you do that, because if you don't, and you select stuff, it won't select the stuff in the back also, if that's what you're trying to do. So let's go back to object mode and then only pick the mesh, the low poly. I'll rename it to low poly so we know which one's which. And the low poly, we need to go to edit mode and hit A to select all the faces and say UV, smart UV project. I'll leave like an island margin of like 0.1 and then hit OK. If you want to look at the UVs that just unwrapped, you can go to UV editor and you'll see how it laid that tree out. So when it bakes, it knows where to put the textures from the one object and it puts them onto this. And, you know, they know where to be mapped to, basically. If you just try to unwrap this, it's not going to work because you can't. Think about it. You're cutting something to try to open it up, but there's nowhere to cut it. It ain't going to open if you can't cut it. So this does a smart kind of thing where it, well, that wasn't too smart, all them damn little bitty ones, but you know, it does a pretty good job. So once we got that set, we go back to object mode. We can then go to shading tab. We'll go to the low poly model in the shading tab, and you'll see that there is a principled BSDF shader thing. We need to add a texture in image texture in the texture slot. You can think of this baking process as a photocopy machine, and this being the piece of paper that you throw in there. So you need to set the resolution, what you want the resolution to be. I would do 2048, but you know what? I did this tree before and it didn't look that good at 2048, so we'll just do 4096. You can turn off the alpha channel. That'll save some room also. And then you can connect color to base color. Now, if you looked at the model, once you do that, it'll turn it black. That's because there's no image in here yet. See, just the low poly model, that's what you get. I must have not hit enter. I thought I did. Guess I didn't. Alright, now, in the render tab, I'm sorry, the render tab. Once you're in Cycles Render Engine, you'll get the option to bake. So you open that up. We're only going to bake the diffuse lighting and without the direct and indirect lighting. We don't want to bake the lights from any special lights onto it. Although you can, if you want trees to look different because it's daytime or nighttime, you can do that, but we're not doing that. We select the active because we're baking from one to the other. We open this up, and the extrusion, that measurement I made earlier, like 0.2 or whatnot, I'm just going to put 1. That way I know it's got, and I know it's going to get everything. Now you got to be careful putting too much of a number, because like if you had 25 on there and you had shit out there that's close by, you know, it'd capture that too, I believe. So anyway, now this can be tricky. We need to select the textured mesh, and to make life easier, we can go to this object tab and go to viewport display and tell it to display the high poly model as a bounds. Just going to make it a box, so that way it's easy to select on both. So with the high poly selected, you'll hold shift and select the low poly, and then you will then you can bake. You get a little preview over here once it's done. My medicine's ready for pickup. Oh, joy. That's my focus, man. I got to have my focus, man. I don't have much focus without it. Actually, oh, here we go. Yeah. I think that looks pretty good. Now it is a low poly model, so to get the high poly model features, all the ruts and valleys and whatnot, we need to bake the normals. So let's go ahead and save this. And in fact, I'm going to make this into a mod, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the user folder, and in here in vehicles, you may have to put the folder vehicles if there's not one, but in there, just make a new folder for your mod. I'm just going to call it log. Log. Man, I made a whole song, not a song, I'm sorry. I did a whole long thing on, I was talking in a vocoder, like the guy from Swing Blade, talking about, we gonna make a log today, but it sounded pretty cool. I got that somewhere, but I ended up not ever using it. Might throw it in one day, though. Oh yeah, so we got this here, so that's where we're saving the texture. So we'll save it there, save as. Alright, log. Oh, I forgot that you put the thing up there. What kind? We don't need alpha, so we can take that off. Alright, that's done. Now we can bake the normals. So everything's still selected. We didn't unselect anything, so we can now just go and bake the normals on the same thing. But if we bake normals, we got to change the color space to linear. It's a process. You know, it is a process. I'll probably have to make this in a few videos if I do what I plan on doing. I plan on breaking this up into pieces so that it can break and have its own unique particles that fly away from it when you hit it. What I'm not too good at doing is modifying a mesh, you know, like adding to it. Like cutting it, and then adding something from another thing to it. I'm not good at doing that stuff. So here's our normals. They look great. You can see all that detail is going to be in our tree. We'll save this as, and I'll just put an underscore in, and yeah, you can bake roughness and you can bake other ones, but sometimes the roughness doesn't bake for some reason. I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. I know, like, you have to go to like the high poly model in here and connect the original texture to the roughness mapping for one, and that should bake it when you tell it roughness, but it doesn't always. Sometimes it's just black, and I don't know if that has something to do with the lighting, because I did delete the light, but I can turn on an HDRI lighting with Blender kit. Yeah, I don't want to bake a lot of these. It does take a while. That's about at 2K, but yeah, see what I mean? I don't know why that shit happens. I'll let me try something real quick. I'm just gonna make this just 1024 by 1024. I need to save the Blender file too, because if this thing crashes, I gotta start all over again. I don't want to do that. Alright, so let me see. Let me add light. Let's add a light. To see the rendered version of it, you go to this tab. If you're in cycles and you want to see it actually rendered, so you can put these different lights. You can bake the texture with these different lights. I know there's one that's got some good contrast. It's a snow level. This is it. So see, I can bake the shadows and all that. Let me try, now that I got the light in there, let me see if that had something to do with the roughness, because I'm not sure why that's happening. I really ain't. But you know, worst comes to worst, you can just reuse the damn texture that's in the regular texture spot as the roughness map. You don't even have to put a roughness map in there if you don't want to. This also bakes the ambient occlusion. Maybe I should bake that one. I won't do a 4K though, I'll just do 1080p. Yeah, see, I'm not getting nothing here. And I don't know why. I don't know. Environment would be if you're making something that's reflecting stuff and you want to capture the reflections in the bake. You would use the environment. And you got emissive. You got a lot of glossy transmission. Combined is what we were supposed to do for this also, since we are baking that lighting into it. I'll go ahead and do it so you can see what the different textures look like. The baked sun textures and the just the regular default. Yeah, see, that's our ambient occlusion. I'll just probably use that as the roughness. I'll put a little R here for roughness, or AO for ambient occlusion. Just something so I know what it is. Alright, so let's get rid of the high poly tree. And let's just go to our low poly tree. Let me rename it to log. And the texture, we need to give it a name. So log log. Alright, I need to tell it to shade it smooth. We can get out of this view and go back to here. But you don't want that. And the bottom here, well, oh, it's like this because of the ambient occlusion. I was going to cut this thing anyway, because I wasn't going to have the ground. So I'm just going to make a mesh cube. And boolean. Part that I want to cut off. So picking the other object, not the box, going to here, select generate boolean. The object you pick would be the box. And as you can see, it cut that shit. So we'll apply. We can delete our box now, and you can see that it made us a nice little thing there. Now there's UVs for that also. You don't want to do that because you're going to want to put another texture on the end of it. I'm going to get a texture just of a cut tree at the end of a tree and stick it on there. But for now, you can just leave it for now, or you can unwrap it. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, I'm going to put another texture on there. I'm just showing you how, you do that. Layout. Let's get rid of this other stuff. Damn. How'd I miss all that stuff? Alright, now we got to think about the origin, where it's sitting at. So, if we want the spine like standing up, it needs to be, well, on the ground. Or it's going to fall from the sky, I believe. Did I cut the top? No, that's hollow. I'm going to leave that hollow for a bit. And we're going to set origin, the 3D cursor. I believe it's already set there. And an object, apply all transforms. We're just going to export this like it is. I'm going to export it a few times, but for now, I'm just going to export it as a DAE into the mod folder. Now, since that is going to be a mod, and I don't have the mod completely set up, I'm going to just go into here to that log folder, copy it to the clipboard, and I'm going to paste it in the level so that I can load it in the asset browser. Just right here will be fine. Now we can load that level and look at our log. We'll need to also apply the other texture maps to it. The other ones, you know. The other ones that we picked. Did I not click on that? I thought I did. Mucho sueño en la mañana. Mucho sueño en la. Damn, I can't even remember how to say that now. Mucho sueño en the. Oh man, I can't believe it. My mind's gone. I got to have my med soon. I'm like a vegetable right now. I can't remember shit. And I looked for 5 minutes for the texture painter the other day because I was like, where the hell is it at? I couldn't find it. And I realized it's in the terrain tools. I'm telling you, man, if you do this stuff and you take a break, it does. It goes quick. The mind, it forgets things. Log DAE. Alright. So let us go to material editor, and then with the object selected, we'll get the texture thing here. We will put the right texture in there. And I don't think I baked the other one. Oh well. It'll be alright. Now here's where it gets better, when you put the normal mapping on it. See what I mean? Made that thing look like a high poly model almost. You can see the normal mapping better when the sun's moving. You can see that, you know, it's got those different details in it. Well, not so much this one, but and without the normal mapping, yeah, you can see the difference. So I'm just going to stick the ambient occlusion in the specular. Go to lighting, pixel specular, anastrophic filtering, and you can adjust this a bit. I'm just going to try a couple different ones in different slots, see which ones look better. I don't know, it's just not looking that good to me. Maybe I'm too picky. I probably am too picky, that's probably it. Alright. Well, this is done. This is done with the exception of that, of course. And the fact that it's not a finished object yet. Oh, let's turn on double-sided. And let's, I don't know, you know. I don't know what to do with it. I have an idea. I'd like to cut it in a few places so that when you run into it with enough force, it could break it. But you got to pre-cut it to do that. And so, back to Blender. I'll probably save this for the next video, because this one's already long enough. I feel better once I can focus better. Come on now, exit out the damn game. That dog it. I hate when it does that shit. I guess, well, I had Meshroom running too. That probably didn't help. The game did close, finally. Alright, so that's it. Like I said, we'll do this in the next video. I'm just going to lay it down and show you what I'm kind of talking about, cutting it. So like you can go to edit mode and you can pick certain faces on it. So you can pick them. Hold shift to pick more if you need to. You can also use the select circle, which is kind of like a paintbrush. That also will select the faces. But if we just tell this here, mesh separate by selection. So now we got two log pieces. We got that one and we got that one. Now the part I was talking about that I'm not really great at doing is filling in holes and fixing things. That's the part that, you know, I'm not the best at doing. But, you know, I'm not exactly sure yet what I'm going to do with this breaking part. But I can just kind of give you a quick idea of like filling in some of the polys and just pick 3 of them and then hit F. I didn't mean to connect that one to that. I've turned X-ray off. That's when you don't want it on. See how it made that polygon? Yeah. I'll pick a few of these and do a few. And of course, you know, you're going to have to texture the thing. You're going to have to put some kind of texture on it, or it's not going to look right. And once you do get it how you want it, see, I actually got a model that I also scanned that looks just nice. It looks nice at the ends here. I was thinking about putting this in the tree so that when it breaks, it looks like, you know, the end of a broken tree. So that's what the next video, I believe, will be, and I will leave you all with this. If you got any questions, let me know, and we'll see you in the next one. Oh, maybe you do want to hear the we're going to make a log. Let's see if I can find it. I should be able to just find it by typing it in here. But I think it's I'm not going to spend too long looking for it now. If I don't see it quickly, I'm going to just say, oh well. It would be downloads. No, it wouldn't be there. Screenshots. Unless it's one of these, but I don't think it is. I'm not even sure what the hell these are. I don't hear anything. Well, that's because the sound is going to the wrong place.
Yes, my master.
I can kind of hear something.
Yes, my master.
Try and talk like that's the song I was fiddling around with. And that one. That was just some sounds. I don't even know what I was doing that day. I don't think it's in here. I don't think it's in here. So, well, I'll find it. I'll maybe put it in the next video. But it did sound pretty cool, I thought. I'm bad about putting stuff places and forgetting where the hell it's at. Oh well, I'll find it. I'll post it later, I guess.